Here's the thing, business is devilishly difficult, especially if you want to turn a profit. Most businesses fail, and we know the data backs up that claim. And now we've got a government that's just said to business here in the UK, we want an extra 40 billion quid off of you. Where are you going to find that 40 billion pounds? You're going to make efficiencies. Some of you are going to go bust. A few of you will just about survive, and a teeny percentage will thrive. Well, we want to be in the thrive camp. Now, over the next 30 minutes, you're going to see a keynote presentation that I did to a group of entrepreneurs and business owners that trade in property and in trading businesses that want to thrive. They want to get through. And I've got some golden nuggets in this presentation that you'll be able to swipe and deploy into your entrepreneurial career so that you become super successful. Take a watch of this keynote. It's going to help. Grab yourself a notebook as well. Make some notes. It's going to be good.
Look, I'm a property guy as well, guys. I love property. I've got blocks of flats, loads of commercial property, I own industrial estate. I love property, but I'm really strict on myself to do business first and property second. Because if you build a really good business, a commercially profitable enterprise, you can do property on steroids. And that's why you must get into the habit of doing business first and getting your jacket off. That's where it stops, by the way. It's not going any further. I've identified there's 3 types of entrepreneurs, and we're going to draw them up here on the entrepreneurs tree. Can you all see this? At the back, everyone over here, can you see? Brilliant. Okay, so we put entrepreneurs into 3 categories. 80% are at the bottom of the pyramid. We call these solopreneurs, or I like to call them sheep. They get up and do the same thing day in, day out. They wait for it to happen if it ever happens. The next lot are the 15%. These guys are our entrepreneurs. This would be most of you guys in the room. I call these oxes. They work incredibly long hours. They're brilliant pound turners. They're very good at turning lots of money. Now, the top 5 in our entrepreneurs pyramid, I call these the investorpreneurs or the eagles. Now, the eagles are soaring high, looking for talent. Looking for talented people to employ to help them on their endeavors. And what we might have on the entrepreneurs pyramid, or what we definitely have, shall I say, is we have high level and low level versions of each one. And hopefully by the end of my talk today, we will rise up this entrepreneurs pyramid so that we become in the top 5%. Let's talk about business success rate here in the United of the Kingdoms. Only 5% of businesses make it to their 10-year anniversary. So 95% of businesses here in the UK fail. In fact, around half of them fail within the first 2 years. 80% have gone to year 5. How do we get in the top 5%? Well, we want to copy the habits of the top 5%. What are they doing? They're focusing on innovation. Let's look at business. If you don't innovate, you're going to evaporate. So we've got to constantly go for innovation because the whole marketplace is innovating. What would happen if you still sold fax machines today? You'd be fucked. That's what you'd be. Because the market has constantly innovated. I want to focus on marketing, getting customers. And I don't mean just going on bloody social media. Really good marketing tactics. And I'm going to seize on this talk with a bit of salt and pepper on just how we can do really good marketing that actually works as frugally as possible. Oh, I love the word frugal. Gets me going, it does. As frugally as possible. Frugal. So we're going to do frugality. I want to share this with you. I'm a guy that wants to make a bit of money, but I want to feel fulfilled in what I'm doing. Yeah, look, I make ice cream for a living. I built a dinosaur park this year. Crazy golf courses, 500-year-old hotels. I'm buying another hotel right now. I've got a big chain of day nurseries. I make teddy bears. I make over 1 million teddy bears a year. I love being in the creative industries. Who doesn't like building a dinosaur park or buying a carousel? I like doing that stuff. And I want to be fulfilled in what I'm doing. So yeah, I do commercial property. I love commercial property. I love property. But I want to feel fulfilled what I'm doing. I don't want to just make loads of money. I want to feel that I'm having a good time along the way. I want to feel that I'm making a difference. I love building great teams. Lots and lots of people do everything within their power to stop employing people. And I want to employ as many people as I can, put them to work, I go to work with them, and we build commercially profitable enterprises. And then we're going to use this philosophy, gang. Fast pounds v slow pounds. So slow pounds is property for me. Slowly builds over a period of time. The longer you have it, the more valuable it is. The thing is about slow pounds, it takes time for it to generate income. It takes time for it to generate income. Now I do both. Fast pounds is cash flow, maybe like a salary. If anyone earns a salary, anyone's employed, it comes in, and then by the end of the month it goes, if it makes it to the end of the month. If you've got cash flow in a business, lots and lots of cash is coming in every single day, or maybe not enough, but for me, do you know last week I had £1 million come in my bank in a single day from all of our revenue, and 1.2 went out. That's fast pounds for you, so that it's in and it's out, depending on the day of the week, but that's a classic example. You want to build fast pounds, lots of cash flow, and you want to have slow pounds. You want to get into this habit when you're running a business called 50-50 living. So what I mean is, if you make £1 million profit, half of it you can have, you can enjoy, the other half you invest. And what do all wealthy people do? They invest. They invest in people, mainly people, by the way, which is probably going to really make people go, I don't want to do that. But they invest in people, they build teams. That is the number one thing that super successful wealthy people do. They employ people. They build teams. Then they invest in companies, in property, in themselves. And what I do is I take my 50-50 living and I invest into slow pounds. So I take half of my fast pounds, my profits, and put it into slow pounds. If I was earning £100,000 a year net, I'd live off 50,000 and invest 50,000. Does that give you a good example? If my business was making £1 million, a bonus £500,000, dividend £500,000, and invest £500,000 into slow pound building assets, and for me that's commercial property. And anyone that's into property, this is a guy that started on buy-to-let, by the way. I'll tell you a little story actually. When I was 25, I told this story earlier. I met this really wealthy guy. So wealthy, ladies and gentlemen, he lived in a little island called Guernsey. And it's always a clue, if someone lives in Guernsey or Jersey, that they're very wealthy. And I'd done quite well by the time I was 25. I'd had a big portfolio of buy-to-let property that I'd invested in, just doing it vanilla, saving up the deposits, buying something through my trading business as an entertainer. And what I did was I sort of showed off to him as a 25-year-old. I said, look, I've got lots of flats and houses. How many have you got? Because I knew he had lots of property. I thought, this is something I could learn from. Oh, no, I've got no flats and houses. Just warehouses. Warehouses, I said. What, you mean grotty industrial stuff? That can't make any money, can it? And then he explained it to me and it showed it to me. And from that day onwards, at 25 years old, I thought, no more. So James Sinclair buy any buy-to-let residential property unless it's a fantastic deal. And I have done a few, but when you compare it to commercial property, the difference is night and day. I bought a property in Wembley for £700,000 when I was 27 years old. I just had Savills. I'm 39 now. I know it doesn't look like it. And in those, like 14 years, it's now worth 3.5 million. Bank instructed, not James Sinclair instructed. This is Coots, who I bank with. They instructed Savills to value that property, £3.5 million. You're not getting that sort of capital growth on residential property, in my opinion. The number one philosophy that we should have in business is to build to sell. We're building a business to sell, even if we have no intention of selling it. That discipline or that philosophy will make us build something so much better. If you've got a car that you want to sell, you're going to clean the thing, you're going to get the service done, you're going to make sure it's all beautiful to get maximum possible value. If you want maximum possible value, of course you're going to do that stuff. Well, the same is for business. We're going to build it to sell. We're going to have the good systems and processes, excellent management teams. We're going to have awards, brilliant accounts, profitability. Management teams are the number one thing that help you get maximum sell value. So we're always building to sell, even if we have no intention of selling, because we want that philosophy. Entrepreneurship plus management equals success. Here's the thing, right? Entrepreneurship DNA, which I am fully guilty of, is very different to management DNA. And I love managers. Managers make everything brilliantly. A good PA is a brilliant manager. You know, entrepreneurs get rewarded for taking the risk, for rolling the dice, for having a go, for having vision and being brilliant at storytelling, bringing people with them. But actually, day to day, usually entrepreneurs, certainly me, not very good. I love employing accountants. I've got 7 accountancy people in my team. And a lot of you are probably thinking it's all right for you. 40 million turnover. Look at you. Billy Big up there. You can have your PA and your accountant. I employed my first PA when I was 17, paid her before I paid myself. I employed my MD, who's still with me as my MD, when I was 21, paid him before I paid myself. Delayed gratification has been the moral of the story. Do you know, I had a 3.5 million turnover business in my mid-20s, and I would go out and gig and do table magic. I would go out and do mobile DJing with my big turnover business that was making money, but I wouldn't pay myself because I wanted to pay for a management team. Do you know what? We're all happy to go and put £50,000 into a property investment that might make us £500, £1,000 a month. I'm telling you now, you put it into people, you can make £200,000, £300,000, £400,000 a year if you get the right people. And the right people want to work for the right people. Average people end up working for average people. Good people work for good people. Great people work for great people. I promise you, you walk out of here today and do some research. Those top-level entrepreneurs that we know, the famous ones, there have been delayed gratification to pay others before themselves. And lots of people can't get that philosophy into their head, but it is the one that works. And let's use a school as an example. The entrepreneur is the head teacher that's saying, this is the direction we want to take the school in. We're going to go and raise some money and build some more buildings. We're going to go for these awards. We're going to find the best possible teachers to teach our kids. The managers are the teachers. The teachers are doing the day-to-day stuff, and the teachers are attracted to the best possible head teacher because there's a shortage of teachers in this country. They can decide where they want to work, so they go and work for the best head teachers possible. That's all true, by the way. That's all true, by the way. And so we need to be the best head teachers, attracting the best possible management to look after our students, which is our customers. We built 4 companies in unison, not 4 separate companies. This is a philosophy, a methodology that I use. Company number 1 is the company you are today. This is the company you are today. Look at me spelling with an R. I'm so cool, aren't I? I didn't spell it properly, just an R. And then company number 2 is the company you really want to be. Can you read that? Nor can I. This is the company you really want to be. So company number 1 is the company you are today. Company number 2 is the company you really want to be. The second is we're a marketing company. I'm going to explain it. And the 4th one is a prop co. Okay. So for me, right, company number 1, I was an entertainer, a gigging magician. But what I really wanted to own was visitor attractions. So I started doing gigging magician work. Guess where? That's right, visitor attractions. So I started to learn the process of visitor attractions because that was the company I was. But this is the company I really wanted to be. Do you see how these are the steps to success? Then I started learning marketing. Now, if you're a marketing company, you can push well-qualified leads into your 2 operating companies. By the way, fast pounds. Once these companies start making profit, 50% goes into the property company, building up real strength, concrete foundations for the organization. Let's use a famous company here. The company you are today, Walt Disney. Heard of this bloke? He wants to make cartoons, but what he really wants is theme parks and a worldwide entertainment empire with cruise ships. Starts here, but he knows what he wants over here. So we're working in unison, okay? He comes up with a marketing company, which by then, by the way, was content marketing on steroids, but you needed to have studios and own ABC television and know all the producers of the BBC to get your content. We can do this now just by whipping out the iPhone. I was about to say whipping out something. I thought I better say iPhone. Anyway, so we can do all this marketing to get in our well-qualified leads here and then invest some of the profits into property or maybe good, safe stocks and shares. But I don't do that. I don't understand it. Okay. So we build 4 companies. And we use the 3 KPI rule to track our business profitability. Let's look at the number 1 rule is we're making a monthly profit and loss. Who does a monthly profit and loss in the room? Who actually reads it and understands it? There's a big difference. Everyone goes, I've got Xero. Of course I do a monthly profit and loss. Got QuickBooks. Of course I do it. Got Sage. But you actually read it. Do you understand it? Very different thing. Most people manage their businesses by what cash they've got in the bank account, and that needs to stop. Let me tell you a little story about a wedding venue I work with. They always had £500,000 cash in the bank. And a few years ago, something happened in China. They started spreading a little flu around the world. Now, how does a wedding venue work? People get married 2-3 years in advance, don't they? What do they pay? Big deposits. They were sitting on loads of cash, but actually they were a break-even business. How did they find out through coronavirus that they were a break-even business? Because people asked for their deposits back, because they wasn't doing weddings for a year. And the bank account was just going... They thought they were really profitable because they were getting cash flow in advance. And that's why we must produce monthly profit and loss. Your year-end accounts are for the tax man. The monthly profit and loss is for you to manage your business and to become more profitable. The second one is average customer value. Everyone says, in property, they go, I want my portfolio to be worth X, Y, Z. What, for your children, for when you die? Why do you care how much your portfolio is worth? If you're into property, talk just about your rent roll. That's the thing you should be talking about. Rent roll. Capital appreciation is only really a real thing if you actually bleed and sell the thing. And I've done it myself here. I stood here just 15 minutes ago saying, I've got this property in Wembley. It's now worth all these millions. But actually the real value of me owning that property in Wembley is I operate one of my businesses from there and I stop rents going up because I own the freehold. And that's why I study these things, profit and loss and average customer value. If you've got a business, you count your customers, you divide it by your turnover, and then next year you want your ACV to go up. So don't worry about your turnover going up, you want your average customer value to go up. Because usually moving average customer value up is very profitable, is very good for the bottom line. Get very excited about average customer value. And then number 3 is LTR. And this stands for labour to turnover ratio. Now, whilst I am very happy to employ people, I also understand the biggest cost in most businesses walks on 2 legs. And we need to understand that. And we need to find people that do what we do in different parts of the country and share with them our monthly profit and loss so that we can understand the numbers in their business so we're not competing with each other and share details. So I own a lot of farm attractions, and I know lots of people that own farm attractions all around the country. We share our accounts to see what they're spending on labour, what they're spending on repairs and renewals, what they're getting on food spent per head, what they're getting on admissions. I share all that information. It's free to do, and we rise together. Most industries will do that. And if you want to raise money, if you can explain this stuff to a bank manager, honestly, it's an orgasmic moment for the bank. If they know that you know your average customer value, your monthly profit and loss, your labour to turnover ratio, and you can succinctly explain it, people will want to lend you money at the best possible terms. Now, what's the ultimate way to grow your business? Here we go, gang. What is it? Well, it's using this strategy that I use. You build a business, you go out there and you get your business going. Then you want to buy companies. And this is one of the golden ages that we're living in right now. Let me tell you a little fact, by the way. Do you know last year, there were more 65-year-olds created than 20-year-olds for the first time ever. And do you know what? Those 65 plus, or what I like to call woofties, well off over 50s, the woofties have got more health than they've ever had before, more wealth than they've ever had before, more aspirations than we've ever had before, and they are holding up all the cash in the economy as they live to 405. And so, but they get to like the age of 60 and they're thinking, actually, I could still have some fun. I want to sell my business. And their kids, because they've been spoilt rotten by them, don't want to do any hard work. I mean, their kids would not be in this room on a Saturday trying to better themselves, let me tell you that. They go in to, I don't know, Lakeside. You know what Lakeside is, dear? I'm from Essex. There's a shopping centre. Can you tell I'm from Essex, by the way? Do you think I've got an Essex twang? Stop winking at me, it's getting embarrassing. Okay, so we want to build businesses. We want to buy businesses, then we want to build them, then we want to sell them, and then we want to have what we call a wealth event. So HSBC, private banking, your Investec, your Coots, or Barclays Wealth, they're the people they're targeting, people that have sold businesses. Now, even though Rachel Thieves has made it less advantageous for the entrepreneur and business owner in this country, it is still the most tax-efficient, legal way that I know to create wealth is to sell a business, and then you can do property investment on steroids. Thank you very much, everyone. But that is it. That is the truth. If you can think with the end in mind, say this is what I'm going to do to build a commercially profitable enterprise, thinking with the end in mind, you will win the day, my friends. How do we do this? Well, we've got to work out using this philosophy for life. B times do equals have. What have we got to become, and what have we got to do to have all the things that we want to have? B times do equal have. It's a beautiful little thing. B times do equals have. I'm thinking, what have I got to become? How can I become better? What have I got to do to have all these things? So for me, I've got to think higher barrier to entry. I've got to think bigger. I've got to find the right bank managers, the right connections. Then I've got to read the books. I've got to go to the seminars. I've got to go on YouTube. I've got to better myself. Who are the people that I've got to employ? And who have I got to become so they choose to work for me? And then I can have all the things that I want to have. So what I've learned, one of my biggest learns in business, whether I'm doing marketing, buying companies, doing property, this little thing here, the bigger you think, the more distinct advantage you have. The bigger you think, the more distinct advantage you have. Who does serviced accommodation in this room? Let me walk you through how my mind works. I own a block of flats in Southend-on-Sea. It's a city, little block of 6 flats. And I watch YouTube and I follow the property people on Instagram and stuff like that. I listen to some of the podcasts. And I hear all these things about serviced accommodation. My mind goes to operations. When you own restaurants and visitor attractions and day nurseries, you think about the operations. Think, how are they changing the sheets? How are they looking after this? Sounds like a lot of work. So I thought, I'll just go and buy a hotel. And then I'll learn how that works. And if that's making money, I'll do it in my serviced accommodation business. At the moment, I was just running it on ASTs. Very vanilla buy-to-lets. Well, I went round this hotel. I'd done a deal as we was walking around. Didn't bother doing the serviced accommodation because the hotel is a much bigger thing. You can make £300,000-400,000 out of a hotel. And I did a lease option on that hotel. Well, I'd done a private mortgage. And I asked on my first visit, I just went, do you produce a monthly profit and loss? No. Are you making any money? I'll have to get my accountant to tell you the numbers. And I said, it's going to be very difficult to fund this because you're not making enough profit. Brilliant opportunity. But if you're not making profit on paper, very hard to get a mortgage. So I said, I'll give you a deposit. I'll pay you a little bit of interest. In the 3 years, I'll pay you the rest off. Here's how I've done that 10 times before. So I get myself into a 30-bedroom hotel that's now making £300,000 profit. I just put a small deposit out. I've done that with an industrial estate, commercial property, but I always do it with much bigger scale, not on single buy-to-lets. You want to do stuff that's bigger thinking, where there's more profit, more skin in the bone, and so much bigger that you can afford a manager to run it for you. What is a great business to consider buying? Why do we want to buy businesses? It's the fastest and quickest, the most cost-effective way of growing your business. Forget marketing. Just go and buy a business that's already doing it. And do you know what? You can buy businesses really creatively by telling the bank the truth. Because lots of property investors are doing all these no money down deals, all these creative strategies, doing what I call mortgage fraud, because that's what it is. Because that's what it is. But you can do creative stuff and just tell the bank honestly. But when you're buying a business, the bank love it when you're doing creative stuff. They hate it when you're doing investment, but they love it when you're buying a business because it de-risks it for them. So you get the bank to give you the money up front for a deposit, and then you do vendor finance on the rest. I'm literally doing 3 or 4 of these a year. Really, really powerful stuff. And you find businesses that are doing $1 million plus in revenue, that are profitable, that hopefully are trading from a property so that you've got a commercial property angle to it, which is way more tax efficient than residential property. It's got brilliant management, so you're not buying yourself a job. We don't want to do that. That folds into what you're already doing. You don't want to just buy something good and you don't know how to do it. For example, I know you own an insurance brokerage and then you find a fish and chip shop that sounds like a great deal. We want to buy another insurance brokerage, or if you're a fish and chip shop owner, another fish and chip shop owner. And we want to find businesses that have moats and establishment. Think of the business as a castle, and we want loads of moats around it so that no one can take the castle from you. Establishment being one of those. Remember that little fact at the beginning of the keynote that I said? Only 5% of businesses in the UK make it to their 10-year anniversary. And let's remove solopreneurs, because usually solopreneurs go, I've been a plasterer for 20 years. My business is 20 years old. No, you've had a profitable job for 20 years. I mean, businesses that actually employ people on PAYE that are not family, that are over 10 years old, it's only 5%. So that establishment, like when I bought an ice cream company, 100 years old. That's a moat around the business. It's a multi-generational habit. Good margins, awards, IPs, all of that good stuff. This is all the good things that make a great business. And they've got lots of customers, and then you put your modern effort, energy, and enthusiasm onto that business. You can then find that you build serious wealth and have an amazing life. Let's look at the things that you should be doing to be super effective as an entrepreneur. You want to be focusing on innovation, marketing, culture, team building, and mergers and acquisitions. I literally think once you buy companies and you learn how to buy businesses, you'll think, why am I bothering with residential property? If you wanted to market a product in the 1960s or 70s and you wanted it to go on a camera, that would have been a board level decision. To get something as an advert on TV would have been possibly £1 million minimum. So people would have thought very carefully about making a video-based advert. Now, because you can get it for free, people become shit. So we're going to come over here. We want to think about our market first. Who's our market? How much money do they have? What's their pain point that we're going to solve? What's the pain point we're going to solve? How are we the medicine to their problem? Then we're going to come up with a message, a headline. Then we're going to focus on the media. And that's how traditional marketeers done it. We understand our market, 1. Number 2, what's our message to our market? Number 3, what's our media? Literally every business owner goes, I need to do something on TikTok. I need to do some Instagram stories. Well, why do you? By the way, I make lots of content, probably more than most by a country mile, but I still use this methodology. And I would argue, by the way, I do an email, a newsletter that I write every weekend, release it Monday morning at 7 a.m, and it's free to get. You can sign up on my website, jamessinclair.net. It's a brilliant little newsletter. I love writing it. I would argue that's the most valuable thing that I do now compared to the podcast and all the YouTube videos and all the books that I've written and doing all this stuff. That very simple newsletter. No cameras, no books, no podcast studio, just a well thought out email. Because that's the business owners. Who's my market? People that want to make money. They will therefore read an email. What's my message to them? I'm going to help you grow your business and explode your profitability. Various medias, but actually a letter, what would even be better than me sending an email, is sending that letter in the post. Good old-fashioned snail mail. Oh, I love snail mail. It's the best. So what do we need to do? We need to learn copy. Get very good at copywriting. If you learn the art of copywriting, you can get my book called Getting Customers Easier, Faster, for less money than you ever thought possible. There's nothing about social media on there. Learning copywriting will make you better at every form of media. It will make you such a good marketeer. Another great guy to follow is a guy called Dan Kennedy. It's about 110 right now, but he's got a brilliant set of books called No BS Marketing books. There's one called Grassroots Marketing for Small Businesses. Quite a heavy read. He really is a master copywriter. So learn copywriting. This is the bit that you all want to find out about. And structure your marketing using my little formula here called AIDA. Learn how to get people's attention, keep their interest, get them to have desire or a decision to buy what you have on offer. And then the last one is call to action. So how are we going to get people's attention? Get their interest, desire or decision. And then lastly, the call to action. Most business owners, when you meet people, you're very good at getting their interest. Are you any good at getting their attention? Are you any good at closing them? What's a good call to action? Best one I always say is this, by the way. Look, so shop is closing down. 70% off, closing today. Well, that's caught my interest, 70% off. That's a shop I really know. I'm going to action right now. I'm desired because I want the bargain. I've got to do it today. It's closing today. I won't have a chance to get that offer tomorrow. So a good example of call to action, closing down sale. And headlines are your superpower. So we make lots of YouTube videos. If you don't follow me on YouTube, I break down all the deals that I do. I do a podcast. We spend a lot of time agonizing over the first 30 seconds of the video, the headline of the video, and the thumbnail of the video. If we get that right, we have a much stronger chance of people actually clicking to watch the video. You can make the best content in the world, but if you don't get people's attention, it's game over. I'm James Sinclair. I've had a lovely day here in Milton Keynes, seeing the roundabouts. You've been amazing.
I hope you enjoyed that keynote. Don't forget to take action, gang. Don't major in the minor things in life. Major in the major things. I love doing keynotes and seminars and presentations. I really feel like I can break through to business owners. If you'd like to come and see me live at one of my own seminars and spend the whole day with me, come along. There's loads of information on my website, jamessinclair.net. I'm doing a Buying Businesses Day and Business Masterclass. One's 2 days and one's 1 day, where I break down all the strategies and tactics that I actually use in my business. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one to help grow your business.